welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be an update on the Vanessa Guillen case. But before I get into that, I just want to warn all of y'all that I did get braces a couple days ago. So my top teeth, I got braces on. So that's why my face looks a little funny and I'm talking a little weird. But I just wanted to put that out there before I get into this video. So the affidavit was released, which is the summary of the case, of any case. That's what an affidavit is. And it is said that the man who committed this crime committed suicide once the investigators and police were coming to, come and question him. And the woman who helped him out with this case is being charged, and I will let you know what the charges are later in this video. So let's get into this video, y'all. It is a heavy topic and it's really sad and disturbing, but I feel like it's something I need to talk about. Having a military YouTube channel and being stationed at Fort Hood, I feel like it's important for me to bring awareness to the situation, as hard as it is to talk about. Now, before I get into it, if you want to be a part of this channel or if you just like this video, please like and subscribe. Please share this video to get the information out there. You are more than welcome to share it, and let me know in the comments how you feel about this case and just the absolute insanity of it, and let me just know your thoughts on this case, and I'll be happy to answer any questions down in the comments below. So for now, let's get into it. In the past few days, there has been major developments in this case. What has believed to have been Vanessa Guillen's body and remains have been found. The pathologists and the investigators, forensics and that team is working hard and tirelessly to find out if that is Vanessa. And also the man, Specialist Robinson, committed suicide after police and investigators were coming to his place of residence to question him. And then also the woman who was believed to be his girlfriend, I'm not sure about that, that's a whole nother questionable thing, that she is being charged, and I will get into the charges. So Vanessa Guillen went missing on April 22nd of 2020, as you all probably already know, and this is what the affidavit says. It says, on April 23rd, 2020, USACIO was notified by a captain in the Regimental Provost Marshal, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, Fort Hood, Texas, that Private First Class Vanessa Guillen had been reported missing by her unit. A witness stated that PFC Guillen left the arms room where she was working to visit the arms room at another location at Fort Hood, one controlled by Specialist Aaron Robinson, in order to confirm serial numbers for weapons and equipment. The witness verified that Vanessa Guillen left the arms room without her U.S. Army identification card, bank card, or car keys, with her barracks key attached. The witness stated that her property was still in the arms room when he secured the arms room for the day. A search of PFC Guillen's phone records revealed the last outgoing text message from her phone was a message to Specialist Robinson's phone. Specialist Robinson was one of the last people known to have seen PFC Guillen. On April 22nd, 2020, Specialist Robinson stated he texted PFC Guillen to inform her he was in the arms room. He said she read serial numbers for equipment, and afterward, he gave her paperwork and the serial number for a .50 caliber machine gun, which needed to be serviced. He said she left the arms room and he believed she would have next gone to the motor pool. Witnesses at the motor pool prepared to receive the paperwork from PFC Guillen stated she did not arrive with the papers. And then 6 days later, on April 28th, 2020, USACIO interviewed Specialist Robinson. Among the things he said concerning his activities on April 22nd, 2020, Specialist Robinson stated that after he finished his work, he went to his off-post residence he shared with his girlfriend, Cicely Aguiar, and did not leave the residence for the rest of the night, except around 6:30 p.m. when he had to come on post to sign onto a government computer to enroll in training. And then on May 18th of 2020, so this would be almost a month after her disappearance, 2 witnesses were interviewed, and it was said that on April 22nd, 2020, they observed Specialist Robinson pulling a large tough box with wheels that appeared very heavy in weight, coming out of the arms room, the same room where Specialist Robinson worked. The 2 witnesses observed Specialist Robinson load the tough box into his vehicle and drive away. And then the next day, on May 19th, 2020, Specialist Robinson consented to a search of his cellular phone by UFED extraction. A review of the phone call logs revealed Specialist Robinson called Aguiar multiple times during the night of April 22nd, 2020, and as late as 3:30 a.m. On April 23rd, 2020, Specialist Robinson also received calls from Aguiar throughout the day. And then on June 19th, 2020, which would make this almost 2 months since Vanessa's disappearance, just 3 days shy of 2 months, it was said that Cicely Aguiar was interviewed, and it says, Cicely Aguiar, girlfriend of Specialist Robinson, was interviewed on June 19th, 2020. Aguiar stated she was with Specialist Robinson all night on April 22nd, 2020. She was asked why Specialist Robinson would call her after midnight if he was at the residence with her. She stated she could not find her phone and had Specialist Robinson call the phone to help her find it. This statement, however, is inconsistent with the lengths of the calls. Specialist Robinson called Aguiar several times throughout the night, and the calls after midnight were for lengths greater than 1 minute. Now, think about this. Have you all ever lost your phone? Think about when you lost your phone and you had somebody call it for you. Okay, so once you call it, you'll be like, oh, I found it, and then you'll pick it up. You won't even answer the call, or maybe you'll be like, call them and be like, hey, I found it, hang up. That takes no longer than 10 seconds. So why were the phone calls a minute or so, even longer than a minute? That doesn't make any sense. Y'all, let me know if your phone calls were longer than a minute when you lost your phone. Doesn't make sense, huh? So then it says Aguiar, during a re-interview, stated that she lied in her previous statement. She stated that she did not leave her residence because one of the ways she copes is by taking long drives. Aguiar stated that she was with Specialist Robinson on the night of April 22nd, 2020, where they took a long drive to a park in Belton, Texas, to look at the stars. How nice. Aguiar stated that after going to the park, they returned home. An analysis of phone records pertaining to Specialist Robinson's telephone was conducted. A review of the location's data revealed that at approximately 1:59 a.m. on April 23rd, 2020, the next day after her disappearance, Specialist Robinson's cell phone was identified in the vicinity of FM 436 and West Main Street in Belton, Texas. Specifically on or around a bridge, Specialist Robinson's cell phone then tracked along the Leon River in a northward direction. Specialist Robinson's cell phone remained in the area for approximately 2 hours. Aguiar's cellular telephone location data was also analyzed later, and it revealed she and Specialist Robinson were near the Leon River together on April 23rd, 2020 and April 26th, 2020. So remember in the last video when I said that Vanessa's cell phone was tracked to Belton the day she went missing? This is where it's coming to fruition. It's kind of lining up now. They were in Belton that night, so hence they had Vanessa's cell phone, obviously. And then later it was said that, oh no, her cell phone didn't ping in Belton. Kind of suspicious. Why would you say that it did and then it didn't? It's not adding up, right? So let me go further into the affidavit and I will tell you the rest of the story. It is then said, based upon this data, personnel from USACID, Bell County Sheriff Office, and Texas Rangers searched the Leon River site in Belton, Texas on June 21st, 2020. A burn site with disturbed earth was identified. What appeared to be the burned remains of a plastic tote or tough box were found nearby in an area near where Specialist Robinson's phone pinged. The soil beneath the burn site was remarkably softer and moister than the soil found at similar depths, merely feet away, and had an odor of decomposition. However, no remains were located. About 1:00 p.m. on June 30th, 2020, USACID was notified that contractors working on a fence adjacent to the Leon River in Belton, Texas, discovered what appeared to be human remains. USACID, along with FBI, BCSO, USMS, and Texas Rangers, searched the area and identified scattered human remains that appeared to have been placed into a concrete-like substance and buried. About 8:30 p.m. on June 30th, Aguiar was interviewed and admitted that Specialist Robinson told her that on April 22nd, 2020, he struck a female soldier in the head with a hammer multiple times at his arms room, killing her on Fort Hood. Affiant knows that this arms room is located within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States and in an area of exclusive federal jurisdiction. Aguiar advised the female soldier never made it out of the Army alive, referring to Fort Hood. Specialist Robinson then placed her in a box and moved the box to a location near the Leon River in Belton, Texas. Paragraphs 14 through 19 are a summary of Aguiar's statements to law enforcement on June 30th, 2020. Okay. On the evening of April 22nd, 2020, or the early morning of April 23rd, 2020, Specialist Robinson picked Aguiar up at a gas station she worked at and took her out to a site near the Leon River and near a bridge. A box with wheels and handles was already at the site. Specialist Robinson walked Aguiar over to the woods and opened up a box for Aguiar, and she saw a dead female inside the box. Aguiar on later date identified the dead female as Vanessa Guillen. Based on the aforementioned facts, there is probable cause to believe that a violation of the Title 18 United States Code, that is conspiracy to corruptly alter, destroy, mutilate, or conceal an object or attempts to do so with the intent to impair the object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding was committed to Cicely Aguiar. Additionally, the original offense of murder was committed on the Fort Hood military installation located within the Waco Division of the Western District of Texas, a place of special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the federal government. A murder at Fort Hood and any related obstruction offenses would be pursued as a criminal proceeding in United States District Court, Western District of Texas. So, Cicely Aguiar was convicted of 20 years in prison for tampering with a body and helping with the murder of the body. And without a bond, she is placed in prison for 20 years. Also, a $250,000 fine if she is convicted. She does have a hearing next week in Waco, Texas, early next week. So stay tuned for the exact date of that. If this isn't enough, what's even more disturbing is that there was pictures taken just 2 days later after all of this, after the crime was committed on April 22nd. On her Instagram, she took pictures and the gas station she worked at. Very disturbing what the caption says. I'll read it to you in just a second. So I'll read to you what she said in her Instagram post. She said, "She was born in fire, fierce to melt the iron. You fell in love with a woman who knows how to tame the dragon. She's the Targaryen of her own soul." And then in another post, a week after Vanessa Guillen was killed, it says, "He showed her the darkest part of him. She said black is my favorite color." Here is a picture of Specialist Aaron Robinson, her boyfriend. As we know, once she was found, he committed suicide with a gun. But not after being on the run for 2 hours, and he wasn't even in custody before that. Nobody was questioning him this whole time. Somebody who had authority over her, like everybody who had authority over her, should have been questioned right away. And earlier this week, we did see Vanessa Guillen family speak at a press conference in Washington, D.C. Now keep in mind, this family drove 22 hours from Houston, Texas to Washington, D.C. to speak up about their beloved. And if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. Determination and dedication for their daughter, for their sister. So I will link the actual conference down in the description box below, so you can go over and watch that if you've not seen the conference yet. Now, her family was seen with the lawyer Natalie Guillen, and they were saying that they do believe that it is Vanessa that they found. And Tim Miller of EquiSearch said the same thing. He said the search is over. I do apologize. Natalie Guillen is their attorney, not the lawyer. So I do apologize about saying she was the lawyer. She has made interviews about Specialist Robinson. She said that Specialist Robinson was there with her in the armory room, so that is a confirmed fact. It was said that they were having an affair. Specialist Robinson, the girlfriend of Specialist Robinson, Cicely, is a former wife of a soldier at Fort Hood. So Vanessa, being the brave and strong woman she is, said, "I have to report this," and this infuriated Robinson. He said, "No, you're not going to ruin my career." Grabbed the nearest weapon he could find, which was a hammer, and he bludgeoned her in the head over and over. Natalie said that the whole armory room would have been filled with blood and that he took her body right away. Now, if you think about the time that he had to kill her and clean up the entire mess without anybody walking in on him or anybody finding out, they said that this took only 43 minutes to be exact. But if you think about, he probably killed her while he was hitting her over and over again with a hammer. So that probably took 2 minutes or less. Oh God. And so imagine, this is what the investigators said, imagine paint, getting paint on a paintbrush and flickering it everywhere. That's how the blood would be. So the blood would be splattered all around the room, along with bits of her face would be splattered across the armory room. So he had time in 43 minutes, this is what they're saying, to kill her, dispose of her, get rid of her body, put her body in the bag and take it to his truck, and clean the entire armory room in less than 45 minutes, less than an hour. And he didn't have any cleaning supplies with him. Trust me, I know what the armory rooms look like. There's no cleaning supplies in there. So he had to go out and then get the cleaning supplies by himself. That's not adding up. He wasn't the only one there. He had people help him clean this up. Even if he was the only one to have murdered her, he would have had to have help cleaning up the mess. Keep that in mind. That has not been stated. So then he goes back to the army room at 6:30 p.m. to do training, right? To do training? No. He goes back to the armory room to get her body, and he brings it to his truck, and he drives to the Leon River. And at this point, he decides he can't do this by himself, which I don't think he did it by himself in the first place, but that's besides the point. And he calls up his girlfriend Cicely to help him dispose of the body, I suppose. So what they decide to do, they decide to try to light Vanessa's body on fire. When that didn't work, they decided to take a machete and to start dismembering her body, cutting it up into pieces so it would be harder to put it together that it was her when they did find her. Natalie said that her body was put in different places, so I'm guessing different holes that they dug, and they put this quick cement stuff onto her body so it would be even harder to figure out it was her. So Natalie also said that while they were driving, they threw the machete out the window so it would be in different places so they couldn't piece it together as easily, as well as they destroyed Vanessa's phone, threw that out the window, and they also threw the hammer out the window. Natalie said that while her sister Myra was arriving on the base, they were dismembering her body and doing this whole thing between 12 and 4 on the 23rd, 12 and 4 a.m. in the morning. She said that they were doing that while Myra was coming on the base. Really disturbing to think about that she was so close, yet not. She is saying, how could have nobody have seen him? How could have nobody have heard Vanessa's screams? There's so many unanswered questions, so many loopholes in this, so many things that are being left unsaid or being twisted to make it seem like it's the truth when obviously we don't have all the answers. And Natalie also says that they were trying to give Aaron a polygraph test and he refused it. Actually, they said, don't go anywhere, and he said, all right, I won't go anywhere, and he got up and left. She said that the polygrapher actually did interview Aaron Robinson, and he said that he was lying. And they said, don't go anywhere, and then he decided to leave. He was told not to leave the room. They were going to go somewhere for a second, and he said, all right, I won't leave the room. And he got up and left once they left the room, left him in the room alone. And so he managed to leave the polygrapher, leave the base, and then 2 hours later they were able to find him. And in that time, he somehow got a gun. I don't know if he planned it already to have a weapon, but that's when he decided to use the gun to commit suicide. And even after these people went forward and said that he was seen with this big heavy case, that nobody stepped forward in order to get him investigated, in order to get a warrant for his arrest. The Army was saying, oh no, it can't be him. And then they were saying that it was not actually Aaron Robinson that called her into the armory room, it was somebody else. So who was calling Vanessa into work on her day off? That's still a question unanswered. So many people are covering up this case. And why wasn't Aaron's roommate questioned? He hasn't been questioned. He's probably lying about things as well. And an interview on Nancy Grace that Tim Miller had with Nancy Grace, and Natalie was also there in the background. So Nancy Grace said this is probably how it went down. Vanessa called Robinson out on sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and Robinson said, nobody's gonna believe you. And then that's when she said, well, they will believe about Cicely. And that is when Robinson decided to pursue his actions. He said, you're not gonna ruin my career. And that's when he decided to grab the hammer. And that's what Nancy Grace said probably went down that way. And Natalie was in the background saying, Yep, that's right. That's true. This is when Vanessa was bludgeoned with the hammer. It is so disturbing to think about this. She was bludgeoned with the hammer many times. So many times that her face was completely destroyed. Her teeth were completely gone. Her face was completely dismembered in and smushed in and crushed. So Natalie said that they couldn't even do dental records to figure out if this was Vanessa. So Natalie said to think about it like this. Think of when you dip a paintbrush into paint and then you swing it over your shoulder. That's how the splattered blood would look all over the walls. It would look like a bunch of splattered paint. So imagine all of this blood everywhere, and then imagine it all over Robinson's clothes and body. So how was he able to clean himself up as well as the room, and as well as getting rid of all the evidence of what was done in 43 minutes without any help? That's the question. That's the big question right now. The only way he wouldn't have needed help is if he pre-planned this. He would have had to have an extra set of clothes there. He would have had to been able to take a shower. And there is showers in the bathrooms at the armory rooms. So he would have had to have done all that by himself unless he pre-planned it and had other people involved. What's even more ridiculous is that, okay, so nobody saw Robinson, nobody helped him, right? He did this all by himself apparently. So there was a missing tool from the army room that he wasn't reprimanded for. No, he wasn't taking accountability for the missing hammer, because that was his armory room, so he would have had to have taken accountability because he was working there at that time. A missing soldier who was also working during this time and was seen there where Robinson was working. A soldier. And nobody thinks to question him. Nobody thinks to even, I don't know, put him under investigation, under arrest. If y'all don't know how the Army works, when we have a missing piece of equipment, even the smallest thing, like a little piece to a weapon or a little piece to a piece of equipment, the smallest thing, if it's not found, nobody's going home that day. We're going to stay there until we find it. Everybody. Everybody's going to be accountable for that piece of missing equipment. But a missing soldier goes missing and nobody cares. Nothing. It's fine. She went AWOL. She just went AWOL. She doesn't care about the Army. She doesn't, she went AWOL. That is probably the most disgusting and disturbing thing about everything, is that I know how the Army works. If there's a piece of missing equipment, we're searching down until that thing is found. But a soldier, she was accounted for, She's just going AWOL. She's just crazy. She's a crazy little PFC, whatever. She's fine. Now, back to cleaning up. So, okay, he managed to, in 43 minutes, remember, this was all done in 43 minutes. He managed to take a shower, get himself cleaned up, as well as the entire room with blood splatters everywhere. He managed to make no evidence of that room. And he managed to take the body as well to his truck, a bloody, dismembered body. The blood would have been dripping as he was taking it out. There would have been blood across the floor again as he was taking it out. So how was he able to clean that up as well? And nobody saw it. Nobody was around. As big as Fort Hood is and as many people and soldiers there is at this base, nobody saw it. Nobody. It's being covered up, y'all. There's more to this case. And the fact that we think we have closure because she was found, there's not any closure with this case. There's more being left unsaid. There has to be other people involved, or their whole story is wrong. The story isn't lining up, y'all. It's not making any sense. And what makes this even more disturbing is that the person you report to in the Army for sexual assault said there wasn't even enough credible evidence that she was sexually assaulted. What more credible evidence do you need than a body that was bludgeoned to death, dismembered with a machete, cut up, and put into 3 separate holes, thrown into that, 3 separate holes, and covered in a shallow grave with quick drying cement? What more evidence do you need than that? That doesn't give you enough evidence that there was sexual assault, that this case was deeper than just, a missing soldier went AWOL. And to make it even more worse and disturbing is that the security cameras around the armory room, they said there wasn't any. Well, there was. They're fake cameras. They're dummy cameras. Why would you have dummy cameras? Why would you even have a camera at all if it's not going to be real? On an army base. Out of all the places you think you would put cameras, you think you would want to have it on a military installation, especially near a building and around and in the building that holds all of your weapons that you go to war with. Yeah, you think you would want some kind of, you think you would want some cameras there. You don't want to have any proof of crimes, but yet you have people watching the barracks. You don't have people watching or cameras watching the armory room where all the weapons are stored, but yet you have people watch people in the barracks. You watch them go to their rooms, right? That makes sense, Army. Way to go. So, no matter how you look at this, there's obviously things wrong at Fort Hood. Obviously, there's lots of things wrong with Fort Hood. And the more you look into it, the more you realize that there's a lot of people covering up for people who don't deserve it. But these guys messed with the wrong family, and they definitely messed with the wrong lawyer. They messed with the wrong community. Because they're going to get to the bottom of this. I believe it. The lawyer / attorney is going to get to the bottom of this. She's one of the smartest lawyers out there, one of the best lawyers out there, and I believe she can get to the bottom of this. And I think with everybody talking about it and getting the message out there, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Fort Hood to come out with the truth. What makes this even more sad is that Vanessa was a good soldier, and all she wanted to do since she was 10 years old was join the Army. That was her dream, was to be a part of this disgusting mess. The saddest thing of all of this is that Vanessa's mom, as of 2 days ago, doesn't even know what happened. She is laying in bed with pills. She has been said to have had symptoms of a heart attack and has had to go to the hospital, and she doesn't even know what's going on. Bless her. She doesn't know that the remains were found and that her daughter's body was dismembered because thank God she doesn't know about this, because nobody should have to bury their children, their baby. Nobody should have to bury their baby this way, and especially through the Army. So let's have a little chit chat below about all of this. How do you all feel about this? What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Until next time.